right, y'all can finally stop asking. I'm finally reacting to the Pokemon Legends Neo region first episode from Loxton and Gnoggin. A lot of people have been asking for this. It's been out for almost like, what, 2 months now? I'm very sorry about that, but yeah, a lot of things going on. I'm in the process of moving, and I won't lie, I continuously forgot to keep recording this video, but we're here now, and that's all that matters. Anyways, though, I don't want to take too much time. If you already know, I loved Cascade, so I already know that this new region that Loxton's working on is going to be fantastic. So if you're as excited as I am to start reacting to Pokemon Legends Neo, then I'd definitely be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And yeah, enough talking, let's get into it. All right then, let's begin.
The year is 2096, and a little over 40 years ago, our connection to outside parallel worlds was destroyed.
Okay, already that's a lot of lore to throw at you in like 5 seconds. So we're mad in the future. So again, as I expected, which I think this was stated in the trailer because it was like a post-apocalyptic type of thing. It looks like, I guess, oppositely from Legends Arceus being set in the past, this is set in the future of Unova, I think, because Neo gets this, right? All right, 40 years later, I guess that's insinuating that 40 years in the past, they had established a connection with parallel worlds, or that's obviously when it got destroyed, right? So that means that a little bit before it, probably a couple of years, maybe 10 to 20, they ended up establishing a connection. Okay, cool. So that's very interesting. Where are we taking this?
Was destroyed. Previously, we used the power of this connection to give certain Pokemon heightened abilities, new evolutions. We would trade these Pokemon with trainers from the other side, from those other worlds. And then they'd evolve.
Oh, I see what they mean by parallel worlds now. I see what they mean. They mean like other games. Okay, so for trade evolutions online. Okay, so that's how we're gonna connect that to the lore. Okay, I see.
Or another, only certain Pokemon were capable of this, and some needed to be traded simultaneously with another Pokemon, or simultaneously with a particular object or element in hand.
Okay.
We've since learned how to merge the power of these objects with those Pokemon to induce evolution, but since that connection itself was severed, no Pokemon who relied on its power solely has been able to evolve at all.
The internet died.
Until a discovery we made just a couple years ago.
Okay.
While researching ultra wormholes, Professor Lilith at the USURP released some sort of energy that now allows these Pokemon to evolve simply via experience. The same way most Pokemon evolve. However, they no longer evolve into their previous trade-only forms.
Oh, this is about to be crazy.
They evolve into wholly different Pokemon. And now, I'm going to explain these new Pokemon and the theories as to why they appear the way they do.
Loxton busy out here making this the most peak content of all time. What the hell? Okay.
At least that is the in-universe, in-character introduction. Hello, I'm Loxton, regular Loxton here, not trying to act Loxton. We're working on a Fakemon region of sorts. More specifically, we're looking at the Greater Kanto area in the year 2096, several decades after a cataclysm.
Ooh, okay, I'm so excited. It's just Kanto, but like, bro, I'm so excited to see more.
Of sorts changed everything. The main question this all aims to answer is, what if Pokemon was a T-rated action JRPG?
I love JRPGs.
The trickiest part of this mess is, of course, how can we make it cool and edgy without making it edgy?
That's impossible. You're making a Pokemon region. It has to have a little bit of edge.
And so a few of these new Pokemon we're going to show off today are a tad edgier than what I would ever expect Pokemon in its current form doing, but only barely. There's plenty of ROM hacks that go way over the top with this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think there's a fun challenge in finding a balance between edgy and edgy. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, as somebody that mainly plays fan games and ROM hacks, again, as I said, you can't make a Pokemon game and try to make a story in Pokemon without it having a little bit of edge. Because the thing that a lot of people, especially when they're trying to make a fan region on Pokemon, strive to do is kind of break the limits that Pokemon sets for themselves. Even if they don't plan to make it edgy, they'll usually have a little bit of edgy undertones. You'll find it everywhere. The biggest, contributor to that is Reborn and stuff like that. So, I mean, hey, your last region, it had like maybe like 2 edgy things. Nah, those reviews were pretty edgy, but still, you know what I mean?
Right, not all of them are going to have that kind of edge. Plenty of these would work fine as regular Pokemon.
Okay.
So, let's first look at my favorite example of trait evolutions. When trading Carablast with a Shelmet specifically, the two of them interact and evolve.
Yeah.
I have a whole video about why this is the case here, but for now, notice how they trade details with each other. When Carablast evolves, it gains the armor and aesthetic of Shelmet, and when Shelmet evolves, it gains the... stat distribution? Anyway, so what if they were to evolve without trading? What would they look like? I worked with the artist Elisteva76 to find out, and together we came up with Bombardier and Malance. And also, honestly, I'm very proud of my drawing of Bombardier. Look at this dork. This is the pinnacle of my drawing ability. So, without mixing...
Oh, I wanted to look at it for a second longer. Hold up. Okay. So I like these. A bomb and he's gonna explain it. I don't know what this is supposed to be. A Malance? Is it just supposed to be like lands, I guess? All right. These look pretty
Shelmet
cool.
would of course keep its armor, and Carablast wouldn't gain any, meaning it would go further into the Bombardier beetle aspect of its design. Carablast's dex entry reads, when they feel threatened, they spit an acidic liquid to drive attackers away, which is exactly what Bombardier beetles do. But where does it get the name Bombardier from? Well, from French bombard, meaning cannon. Bombardiers are those who fire cannons, and so we wanted to add in some French elements too. So we mixed in elements of the French grenadier, who throws old-timey grenades when not stabbing and firing their old-timey guns. So Bombardier has a sort of French-sounding name, while also being shaped like a classical bomb, with the fuse acting as a French moustache on top of that.
Okay.
The pattern around its body resembles both how old-timey bombs would often be wrapped, as well as a more direct reference to grenadier uniforms themselves.
See, sometimes Loxton will introduce a design that I might not like fully appreciate enough because I just don't think it fits my taste. But then when he actually takes the time to explain it and explain his reasoning for certain design choices, you could definitely understand where he's coming from a lot better. Obviously, knowing a lot more of the reasoning for why this looks like this, I can appreciate it a lot more, but it still does look very goofy. I don't think I'd see myself using one of these, but it does. It looks a lot better now that I see that.
Entire head is shaped like their hats even, and its face makes it look like it's kind of a rude guy. I mean, it doesn't get to steal a shell anymore, which is a rude act already, but now it's all grumpy because it didn't get to steal a shell. And on the end of its cannon hands, you'll see 2 sharp bayonets. This mono bug-type HP bulk of a Mon learns all of the self-destruct type moves, obviously, as well as moves like Fire Blast, Acid, X-Scissor, and even has an ability identical to...
I was just about to say, whatever its ability is going to be interesting.
Innards Out. In fact, it really could just be Innards Out, which is Pyukumuku's signature ability, where upon fainting, it deals damage to its opponents equal to the HP it had before fainting. Innards Out in the context of an explosion may be kind of gross though, so I could see it being called Volatile Body or something. Plus then it could be a little different, perhaps damaging all opponents in the explosion. Now, a Shelmet that gets to keep its shell armor. It was surprisingly tricky, but we wound up with the Bug Steel type Malance, a similarly very French-sounding name.
I like it.
Malan is Old English for strong little warrior, and lance, or lance, is lance in French. Lance. It's because its shell is shaped like a lance. But the French word lance is also how one could translate spear or harpoon, which is notable as that's what cone snails use to attack their prey. Snaily harpoons, or lances. And that's actually a part of what inspired these scarf-like appendages, actually. Snail sticky outy bits. Plus, it's a callback to a Selgor being completely wrapped up in similar-looking wrappings. The helmet has the classic snail spiral that's also on a Scavalier and Shelmet, and it's adorned with a similarly spiraled plume, resembling the fluffier sorts of plumes, common on the helmets of knights, especially while jousting, with lances. And the helmet still has the slits in it like Shelmet, which of course resemble the breathing holes on most full-plate armor helmets, but the very front of it now resembles a frog-mouthed helm, a especially fitting of the frogs, I mean the French. Though originally
Hey!
German, these
No,
helmets
it's
were
okay.
used throughout Europe as the helmets of choice during jousting tournaments, when two knights would run at each other on a horse with a big lance.
I've always found this, like, jousting, by the way, I've always found it very intriguing. It's not something that I would ever see myself doing, but it's one of those things, especially like in a show or like an anime, whenever they do something like this, it just always seems so cool to me.
Everybody cheers when one of them gets impaled.
Yeah,
Lance
haha,
won't
Dad.
be doing
Woo.
any rapid running though. I mean, look at its little feet, tiny legs, only barely bigger than Shelmet's. Though
So
they are
goofy.
shaped like a knight's falds, which is this part, the hip armor. But at least these legs let Malance wind up.
You know what? Let me do a little something different for this reaction. I mean, we're 6.5 minutes in, but I'm gonna put on the subtitles. I know people always tell me to put on the subtitles, so I'm gonna put on the subtitles because I always forget. It just hit me. I'm gonna put on the
A little
subtitles.
faster than a Scavalier, but only barely. And also, if you haven't figured it out already, the name Malance combines lance with mollusk.
Damn, I didn't even notice they had custom subtitles for this. Oh, I've been missing out.
So those are the two that obviously mix when traded with one another. I mean, they have to in order to evolve, but I've always liked the theory that some other Pokemon are intended to show a similar kind of thing going on. Like how both Geodude and Graveler are just kind of rocks, and then Graveler is a rock with 4 arms. Meanwhile, Machop and Machoke are just kind of strange reptile men with 2 arms.
Hey, they're
But then
cool,
you
though.
trade them, and now Graveler has only 2 arms and reptilian features as a golem, and Machoke gained extra arms as a Machamp. So now, question, what if we took those changes away and had them evolve on their own?
To continue the scheme.
Well, they'd probably look a bit closer to their previous forms, right? But before I show you Machug, before I explain Machug, I have a trade to make myself with today's sponsor. Now then, this is Machug. Still mono fighting.
Oh
and
my
still
goodness.
macho like the rest of them. Only this
Wait, I
one
like it. Wait, whoa, but what's the thing on its stomach?
chugs down
Ah,
loads of food to
ah.
fuel its powerful core muscles. Hence the gut. Have you seen strongman competitions? Those dudes are huge and 4 C's thick.
Yup.
None of that beauty pageant bodybuilding stuff like Machamp. And you betcha Machug tackles like a train,
Yeah, bro's-
yelling chug.
Bro's gotta be strong. Like, I actually kind of like this a little bit more than Machamp. I don't know. I don't know. I really like this.
Chugma the whole time. Chugga choo choo. Game Freak, hire me. I can't draw, but I got ideas. Machop
True.
has a tail, and both Machop and Machoke have more reptilian snouts, and I guess they lose that when the power of trading switches some DNA stuff around. Golem stole the snoot. So here, Machug gets the snout and tail back. And all of the open, exposed muscle on Machoke has been filled in with more reptilian crests. Sort of like large calluses building up on the wounds.
Okay.
Also, interesting detail, Machoke has 5 toes while Machamp has 2. So we went with 3 here.
In the
And
middle.
Also, the darker skin here resembles manly stubble. And on the wrists and head, it's like sweatbands. And further comparing bodybuilders with strongmen, the strongmen tend to wear a lot more because, you know, it's not a beauty pageant, and everyone appreciates them wearing all that. So here we got full leg tights and even covering a lot of the upper chest.
Okay.
The big gut also resembles those spherical weights they lift at strongman competitions. Atlas weights, I think? Comparing the two, I definitely say Machug should definitely have more bulk, defense, and HP. Maybe even attack, while he's also significantly slower and has literally no special attack to speak of. Like literally just 2. New Pokemon with the lowest special attack, period. Maybe special defense too.
Oh, snap.
This is
Ooh.
Don
Don Cre- I already know where this is going. Oh my gosh, it's hilarious.
Crate, see? An Italian mafia don, Godfather mouth, mustache, arms, and hands included. Boom. Reference to an R-rated movie? How's that for mature? Edgy. It learns a lot
It's
of
not
dark
that
type
edgy.
moves too. Instead of just a geode or just a bunch of gravel, Doncrete is full-on Roman concrete, making the Italian mafia connection all the better. Roman concrete was the backbone of the Roman Empire, concrete so sturdy and enduring that many of their structures are still mostly standing today. The original recipe was lost for a time, contributing to the many factors that caused more modern concrete to be significantly worse in terms of longevity. And now that it's been rediscovered, a number of countries have been considering using it more often. It's just kind of expensive. One of the big differences, though, is that the old stuff tends to have a lot more pebbles and little rocks in it, as well as big chunks of old brick, which is why Doncrete here has so many different colors all around its body, and why its arms, fingers, and even main body are brick-shaped. It's an aggressive aggregate for sure, and one that'll leave you sleeping with the fishes the old-fashioned mafia way, tying your legs to a cinder block and throwing you in the river. Doncrete's signature move, Whack, which comes from
Whack!
the Italian
Whack! The name is literally just Whack. I love that.
Mafia's word for killing, is a dual rock dark type attack. It'll pick which of the two types deals the most damage. But what the move doesn't tell you is that its power is increased in the rain, like a dreary body dumping scene in a movie. And Doncrete's signature ability, Dark Mind, which gives it the immunity to psychic type attacks as if it were dark type. But it's not dark type. How extra devious, yeah. And now then, while that last one was a bit edgy, it wasn't super edgy or anything.
Nothing like that.
This next one is something I know Game Freak would never actually do because its origins are far too morbid.
It can't be that morbid.
Upon trading, Haunter gains a full body, legs, tail, and all.
Okay, this might get a little morbid.
So perhaps without the power of trading, Haunter is never able to really fully achieve this, though it wants to. Perhaps this leaves it in a middling state, where its arms and the inner part of its torso develops. Not the rest of it. This is Dongal.
Oh, that is so cool. Oh, that is so cool. Wait, I love that!
Vampiric, ghastly fangs and wings, demon eyes and horns, a huge split yokai tongue, and sopping wet with spectral ectoplasm.
Okay, don't say it like that.
What appears to be dangling guts, which is a part of its name, Dangle, Dongal. But what else is there? Well, the names of the wicked ghosts it's pulling from.
Wait, skip to fit. Oh, okay, it's time to see guts and gore. So yeah, skip to that, I guess.
3 similar spirits from Southeast Asia, mainly Malaysia and the Philippines. There's the Dila, a horrific bat-like creature with human guts dangling below it.
Okay.
Mananangal, a vampire-like creature that resembles a human until it sprouts wings and splits its body in half, guts falling to the floor.
I love when Loxton does like he's trying to like set the tone, right? When something's like spooky or something, and then he puts on that like, ew, it's so spooky. It's like it's not making it scary at all. So I can't even take it super seriously.
She feasts on the unborn, preying on pregnant women and consuming the hearts of their fetuses.
Wow, that's extremely screwed up.
Penangalan, the disembodied head of a woman, with all her organs still trailing behind. To keep the head alive, you see. She too preys upon the unborn and even young children.
Well, that's not good.
She leaves behind a trail of sparkly, ghostly light and an even longer trail of vinegar smell.
Vinegar?
Southeast Asia, okay. Who came up with this?
Yeah.
Also, I probably butchered those pronunciations. Like many Ghost-type Pokemon's Pokedex entries, Dongal's mentions its affinity for kids and even baby Pokemon.
Ew, oh god, don't say it like that though. Like, I know what they mean, but that, oh god, that sounds disgusting, bro. I'm not gonna bring it there. I'm not gonna bring it there. I was gonna make a reference to something else related to a Gengar, but we ain't gonna bring it there. If you know, you know. That's all I'm gonna say.
Attacks deal bonus damage if the Pokemon being hit is not fully evolved.
Ooh.
How much bonus damage? That I don't know. I am not a balancing expert.
Maybe you could just like reverse the effects of Eviolite. This could actually, like, depending on how they handle this would be like a Chansey Slayer. I'm always thinking of these things too competitively. Leave me alone.
But the last of the Gen 1 Pokemon was easily the hardest to come up with. A new evolution for Abracadabra Alakazam. That's like a thing. It's a thing that magicians say. And also, the Pokemon don't really change much between Kadabra and Alakazam. Like, ooh, you lost your tail and you gained a spoon. Spoon! Actually, come to think of it, Gengar gains a tail. Did it take it from Kadabra? Does Haunter secretly have a spoon?
Maybe.
Okay, without the power of trait evolution, our new Kadabra Evo needs to keep the tail, and maybe not gain a spoon. Well, we took a note from Mega Alakazam and came up with this. Ajimaji, You see, Ajimaji is like the only other classic.
Bruh, no, I can't see big spoons anymore. Only a spoonful. Haha, he's gonna eat all the ice cream.
Magic word in the world that doesn't sound lame, like Magikazam.
Magikazam.
You know, lame stuff like that. But it works out because it's the same number of syllables and it still rolls well. Abracadabra Ajimaji, which is a Persian word, and it means, alakazam, or abracadabra. It's a magic word. Anyway, it's sitting down and all about its meditation, just like Mega Alakazam, only instead of Mega Alakazam's big bushy beard, here it gets a big bushy tail and brings in various magic and psychic symbols into its design. The shape of its tail is that of the Hamsa, a symbol on amulets of protection, especially protection from the evil eye and psychic attacks. And the hand with the swirl on it is known as the Shaman's Hand, or Healer's Hand, a symbol of protection and a talisman of good health. The pattern around its ever-closed eyes resembles the Eye of Horus, similarly a symbol of health and protection, and the bacon from Kadabra's groin is now glowing on Ajimaji's tail.
I like it.
Those, along with Kadabra's star, are symbols from Zener cards. Cards which are used to test a person's psychic ability.
I never knew that.
And lastly, Ajimaji wields a single spoon-shaped walking stick, or
Only a
staff,
spoonful.
akin to those wielded by sorcerers and shamans. Also, not unlike Mewtwo in the
Only
manga.
a spoonful!
Why did they think Mewtwo needed a big spoon in the manga? Now, given all of these symbols of protection in its design, you may have already guessed what kind of Pokemon it is. While regular Alakazam is all about its special attack and speed, Ajimaji is all about special defense and HP.
Yeah,
and
bulky.
can learn all of the many psychic-type healing moves and defense buffs. And its ability, Protective Aura, sets up a light screen upon it entering the battlefield. Good stuff. And with Gen 1 done, let's skip ahead to Gen 6.
Okay.
Honestly, Gen 6's trait evolutions don't really need to be trait evolutions.
Yeah, the little
right?
tree thingy.
It's a pumpkin.
Yeah.
Now it's a bigger gourd. It's a ghost tree spirit. Now it's a bigger ghost tree spirit. They still work and look good and add plenty of elements, but there's nothing like different enough to justify them being trade evos, in my eyes.
Yeah.
But then again, the same can be said of Alakazam and Gengar, so like, I don't know. But what could we really even do different?
At least for Gengar and Alakazam, though, like they look significantly more improved from the second stage. Gourgeist and frick, dude. Phantom's evolution. Trevenant, they really, nah, I could definitely see what you mean. They kind of look a little bit like Duskstone evolutions to me. That's what I always thought they were, and apparently they weren't, so hey, it's not like I'll ever use them anyways.
Well, with the mysterious power of trade evolution completely gone, these Pokemon were left waiting and waiting in their basic forms. The release of the new energy discovered by Professor Lilith did eventually lead all of the rest of them to gain new forms, new evolutions, but one of them did manage to find a new evolution on its own.
Okay.
Sitting around as a basic Pumpkaboo, sitting there, unevolving, for decades and decades. Something eventually awoke inside Pumpkaboo. The spirits that its Pokédex says it keeps in its pumpkin body have grown restless and more powerful, and they spring out like a virus
my.
to take over the body of Pumpkaboo, causing it to evolve into Gorgoos. Gorgoos are always found in large...
I'm not gonna lie to you, Chief. It might have been a better idea to stay unevolved. You know, it ain't that bad. Look at Absol. You know, you still cute. I mean, you're like a little pumpkin. Hey, pumpkin pie. You know what I mean? Okay. I'll let him explain it. As I said, when he explains it, it'll definitely hit harder. But yeah, I don't know, dog.
Swarms. As once a single Pumpkaboo evolves, it's now able to bite onto other Pumpkaboo and cause them to evolve instantaneously too.
Oh, it's like a virus.
Pumpkin, guys. It's a rotting corpse of a dying jack-o'-lantern, like the jack-o'-lanterns you leave on your porch. It's like it's December, it's still there. Oh, it's gross. Like you pick
so
up
just
the top
rotted.
of the pumpkin and the bottom of the pumpkin stays on the ground and it's gross. It's also just like that creepy jawless zombie trope. And here's a fun thing. If you have a Gorgoos in your party and you also have a Pumpkaboo in your party, that Pumpkaboo evolves. Gorgoo's
Damn.
twisted pumpkin vine-like legs can stretch real far, allowing it to climb and run at rapid speeds, like zombies crawling up the sides of a building. But also, like zombies, it's kind of, really, really weak to physical attacks.
Okay.
I mean, it's rotting.
But it's probably
literally
slow.
falling apart in front of you. It's like you knock its head off with a gentle breeze. As for the name Gorgoos, it's straightforward. It's a gourd, resembling gore. It's a ghoul, and it oozes its pumpkiny insides.
Yum.
Maybe its spindly vines resemble the snakes on a Gorgon head. And there's also gargoyles. There's a lot of, like, creepy stuff with these kinds of syllables,
Yeah.
you know? Well, Phantump. One trope I love in zombie media is the badass preacher with a gun thing.
Yeah.
Maybe they tried holy water first. Sploosh. Oh, it didn't work. Bring out the shotguns. And also, it feels like every other T-rated JRPG has a stand-in for the Catholic Church or just evangelical organized Western religion in it. And they are always the villain because, like, I mean, so this is Kenna Priest. It's got a big head, as it's an upside-down Trevenant. That's sort of an old forest god cult leader with elements of like a crown, priest hat, priest sash, devil horns. It's got real big false prophet vibe.
Yeah.
And is definitely inspired by the Devil's Tree in New Jersey. Said itself to be a portal to hell, and it looks dead, but it's not. And it's warm year-round. And the other big inspiration, have you heard of the mansion ale tree? Its sap is extremely toxic, and those toxic compounds get into its leaves and fruit, and even just sitting under this tree to avoid the rain is dangerous, as a raindrop that trickled down one of its leaves and then onto your skin will cause your skin to blister and burn, like what holy water does to unholy creatures. With its signature move, Hallow, when something is hallowed it is made holy, it will squeeze its own fruit in its hand and then swing its arm, scattering acidic droplets of juice all around like a shotgun blast. It's a dual ghost grass type attack that has a chance of causing a burn. Unique for a grass move. And
I like that actually. Mine's actually kind of cool.
honestly, I just really, really love its face.
Look at him.
Look at that face.
That was the old pirate.
I love ghost plants. Alright, two left. The Gen 5 Trademon. Ew. So,
Gen
Roggenrola
5?
and Bulldor to giggle. So this goes from like a
I forgot about that. I forgot this evolved by trade. I've used Gigalith in a lot of like playthroughs, but it's always in playthroughs that have alternative ways to evolve them except for trade. I forgot you had to trade this, bro.
pile of some rocks with speaker ears to a rocky creature with a head. It sort of gains this head and eyes when it's traded. So let's go the other way. Let's go even further into it's just a pile of rocks with some speaker elements. This is Boombox. Yeah, easy name. We're going all in with the spiky speakerness. It's like an anechoic chamber which absorbs all sound, or it's a super stalagmite cave. And both this line and bats live in caves and have massive ears, so it's got some ugly bat ear inspiration thrown in,
I like
which is
that.
also similar to these proto-radars. Before radar technology, these were used to detect incoming aircraft. What a job. Hello, what do you do for a living? Oh, I have giant ears. Now, notably, I totally get not liking this design.
Yeah.
It doesn't really look like anything at first glance. It's just like some crystals and rocks in the vein.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like a huge fan of it, but yeah, I'm more of a Gigalith fan. I don't hate it though. I can see where you're going.
Of a boombox, but I feel like that's a part of its charm, and also not much different from Bulldor.
Yeah.
It's also just kind of a pile of rocks, but it's supposed to be weird. It's silicon-based life. Totally different from the biology of everything we know of. It's an objectmon through and through, blasting sound-based attacks around it in all directions, and even capable of floating short distances by vibrating its speakers at a high enough frequency that it rides along the sound waves. Look, if Mr. Mime can make barriers by vibrating, this isn't too far-fetched. And lastly, Timber, Girder, and Conkeldurr.
Another one.
Construction worker carnies with gross flesh blobs. One big difference between Girder and Conkeldurr are their heads. We got gross, fleshy clown hair, and then
Yep.
Balloon animal butthead? So let's keep with the clown hair for this new Evo, and let's go in another direction with it. Demolition instead of construction.
Ooh.
Just as important, really. But what's the big new addition?
Give him an X.
All about some proboscis monkey elements. The line already has some gross lumps and proboscis. This is Dismantle.
Hey, look at him. I kind of like it, actually.
A big, strong trope of a carny strongman carrying a wrecking ball. It destroys and dismantles things, hence the name. And also, it's a comedic relief Pokemon akin to Wobbuffet, and why not? Why? Why not? And remember, in Japanese, Wobbuffet's name translates to "that's the way it is," which explains it popping up all the time in the anime. Its name is a joke. That's the way it is! So same here. Oh no, we're trapped under a bus! Who's going to help?
Disman!
Who could we really trust with something like this, Doctor?
Disman!
I
Oh,
trust
hey, you
him.
want to go to the comedy club? There's this new comedian in town, and he just riffs on the audience members.
Oh really? What's his name?
Disman!
It is definitely
Okay.
the kind of Pokemon that just shows up randomly in the anime to scream a part of its name. And plus, this whole line of Pokemon is already like the butt of plenty of jokes, by which I mean it's a popular one to hate. They are ugly, and nobody likes them.
What?
So lean into them.
What? Yo, nah, bro. I actually love the Conkeldurr line. Like, a lot. Like, I really do.
And make them funny.
Plus, carnies, they're supposed to be funny. This all makes perfect sense to me. And also, the pink parts on this line are supposed to resemble like bulging veins, right? So Dismander's tail and nose and groin. Well, the nose and huge eyebrow ridge is supposed to give it big Russian strongman kind of look, as that's a big part of the trope, hence TF2's heavy even.
Sandwich make me strong!
It fits.
The large ridge of Soda Popinski and this dude who's real, I guess.
Was that Chuck from Better Call Saul?
Dismander, Boombrox, Canapriest, Gorgoose, Ajimaji, Dangal, Machug, Doncrete, Molance, and Bombidel.
Let me know which one of these are your favorite, by the way. I definitely think it's the one that he just said, and I've already forgotten. We going back. Don't worry, we going back. Dongal. There we go. Yeah. Which one's your favorite? I'd say mine's probably Dongal for sure. I really, really, really like that one, man. But this man, come on now.
Non-trade evolutions for Pokemon who could previously only evolve via trading. I think we did a pretty alright job here, especially with some of the edgier aspects.
Yeah.
What do you think? Let me know down below, and until next time, you never stop using your
Using your
noggin.
noggin.
And I hope you enjoy this project of Pokemon Legends Neo Getsis. It's a mouthful.
Disman!
This man. All right, though, everyone, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. This was pretty well worth it. I know a lot of you guys have been really, really banking on me to make a video on this. So there you go. Happy birthday on a Monday. Hopefully, I'm recording this on Monday. If it's not live on Monday, I'm sorry. Anyways, though, be safe. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you all next time. Bye now.